Hey everybody, we are doing some Madden 23 fantasy draft franchise tonight. Going to build a quick team and use this team to test out some sliders that I'll be trying to use in my real franchise on the channel. Tennessee Titans franchise coming soon. Hopefully sooner than later, but we're going to get some slider testing in today and start to see how this experience may go for us. Fantasy draft is just a kind of fun way to mess around, and every year I like to do a fantasy team in the very beginning of the game. So if you're watching this stream after it is over, you're able to go ahead and just scroll through. I'll put a timestamp where the game begins if that's what you're here for. But I want to get right into the draft today, not waste a whole lot of time. And I didn't realize this until like a few minutes ago when I was making the thumbnail. You can't do an online fantasy draft as far as I know, because there's no starting point. Oh, you can there. Never mind. Never mind. I did the real NFL roster, so that doesn't allow you to do fantasy draft, but active roster does. Okay. Didn't know that. Yeah, we got preseason football tonight, and normally I'd watch some of it, but I feel like I'll get as much out of it like watching stuff after it's over. Check out the box scores, see who actually threw enough passes to maybe take a look at. Don't feel like I have to watch the preseason live unless it's the Vikes. So I'll watch them tomorrow against Denver in Denver. So I'm doing a fantasy draft. What team would be fun here, just from a uniform standpoint, to do this? If I'm testing out sliders, whose uniforms do I feel like looking at? How do you think the Bengals would do this year? I mean, I don't see any reason to not be optimistic. The betting market seems to be a little bit, less high on them. But I think with that offense, and that division isn't particularly strong. So, you know what? I'm going to take over. I see a couple Falcons comments in there. Okay, I'll take over Atlanta for y'all. And we'll do a quick little fantasy draft. Just did one with the Lions because I've been watching Hard Knocks. Yeah, how was episode 3? I've seen the first 2. Let's take off pre-existing injuries so I don't have to think about that. Otherwise, the rest of this stuff, I'll bump up the minutes on the quarters a little bit. The plan is to do a draft and then get into a game. And the main thing is testing out the sliders. And I've already put the sliders into the game. Just import those once we get started here. Let's get right to the draft. Yeah, I really like Dan Campbell. I mean, he didn't have like head coaching experience prior, and I don't think expectations were particularly high with him in Detroit, but I think he's got the personality and coaching style. Like, he is kind of a hard-nosed guy, but not in an old school way. It's kind of a new take on that hard-nosed, like, it's new school, old school. Like, he's going to work the players hard and have some of that old school mentality, but communicate in a more modern way. And I think just kind of modernize the entire coaching philosophy, basically. And I think that's going to work. I think that players will connect with that. All right, what pick we getting here to start this thing off here? We will pick at 13. All right. With this fantasy draft, who do we want to play with? We got to pick some fun players here right off the bat. I have not seen the Manti Te'o doc. No, is that good? How about we start things off here with Davante Adams, because as I'm testing some things out here, I wouldn't mind, having an elite player and seeing if he plays like an elite player. Davante in that Falcons 17 doesn't look too bad. All right, second round now. I don't think I want to take like the best quarterbacks. Like, I already am not going to, because I'm in this range. But I kind of want to see how they play on the sliders. If I take somebody like a Baker Mayfield, it'd probably be a target of mine. So just kind of keeping that in mind here as I build out this roster and take a look at what I can do. Bring back Matt Ryan. Nah, it's too soon for that. Let's, you know what? I'm going to get Trent Williams, because I want to see, like, I don't want to see him get beat every play. That would tell you one thing about the sliders right there. So the sliders I'm using are Matt 10s from Operation Sports. That's the top thread over there, it seems, right now. And I know Matt 10. I talked to him a lot. He helped me build the sliders for the Madden 20 Broncos franchise. And I really like his work. I've talked about him a lot. Or I've talked to him a lot about sliders. Let's do Demario Davis. I don't care. I'm taking all the vets here because I'm not doing this more than a year or so. But I've talked to him a lot about sliders, and we look at things very similarly. We're both, focused on the process of it and not so much the outcome of plays, but blocking and the interactions and animations matching up and coverage. So I just like his process a lot. And I haven't tried out his stuff in this game yet. So he's on version 2. Man, we really just have a bunch of veterans here, don't we? They already took Baker Mayfield from me. Rookies stay in draft fairly long? Which ones? Because I'm looking at a bunch of veterans here. Jalen Hurts? Can I use Jalen Hurts? 74 overall Jalen Hurts. A few of you want to see me use him, so let's just get Hurts, and I'll get a feel for these ratings here of his. Now, I'm using the Tennessee Titans this year in my franchise. In this draft, I'm not going to take a single Titans player unless I do so by accident. I don't when I know my franchise team, I don't play with them at all, so that it's fresh when I start to get used to them in franchise. Roquan being available here just feels wrong. Like he's 25 and good compared to like all these other guys who are like 31 and good. So we're going to take Roquan. I better get some offensive linemen. Let me go grab Joel Bitonio here. 30 years old, man. I remember watching games of his before he came out to the draft. He's already 30. I don't remember him going to Nevada. Why does that seem wrong? I mean, it must be, right? Yeah, he did. Is Jordan Davis still available? Well, if he is, we're going to fix that situation. I'd have to think like guys like him would go earlier, but maybe I'm wrong. I might just take some fun rookies because I feel like it too. I'm not trying to win anything here too seriously. I think he's gone. Sort by age. Good call there. Yeah, I think he's gone now, unfortunately. I see Drake London's available. Jamison Williams. I'm not taking him only because my quarterback is Jalen Hurts and he has like 87 arm strength or less. I'll take Drake London. I don't care who I'm taking him over right now. I'm just building a team. Jordan Davis is 71 overall. I'd take Jamison if I had a different quarterback. And I purposely don't want to take one of the best running backs because I just want to see what it's like with a more average back. You can easily build up a good offensive line in here. I'll come back to it. What do we got at corner here? William Jackson, Teron Johnson. Give me a Dory Jackson. Throw back to the Giants franchise. Oh, if Javante's available, you know what? I'll play with him. I just think he'd be fun to play with. And he's not one of those guys who has like OP speed, so I think like I'd have to be a little more creative with him. Where is he? I don't even know what his overall is in this game. There's ETN. You guys are giving me all these good suggestions, but they're long gone by the time I'm picking. So I still have to work on the Rockies episode for the opening day. Tomorrow I will be posting the UTSA off-season. I recorded that today. That went well. There is an update to the Dynasty tool that's out. So now it has the college football playoff included. You can do 4-team playoff. You can even do 8-team playoff. It's pretty cool. Yeah, let's go Clowney. So we're going to get on to the new UTSA season soon. New Rockies. I'm not going to rush the Titans, but I do want it to start sooner than later. I'm just not going to force it if it's not ready. Do we have a fun rookie to play with here at running back? Ty Chandler, James Cook. A couple rookies there. I'm not seeing... Oh, there is Breece Hall. Yeah, let's bring him in. Let's bring him in. Yeah, those are fine ratings to just mess around with here. And I might not draft like the last 20 guys, the bench players. I'll probably just sim those. Let me get a second receiver here. Let's go by age again. Yeah. What do you think? George Pickens or Garrett Wilson? Make the call. We already have one Jets rookie. Do we switch it up here? All right. We got some Wilson in here. We got some Pickens. I think a little more for Wilson, though. All right. So the Atlanta Jets. The Jets do have some fun rookies, including Sauce. I mean, I think them and Houston, I mean, 2 rookie classes I can't wait to watch this year. I only have 1 corner. So I hope these guys can be competitive. We're doing the super throwback here to the Giants franchise. James Bradbury, Adoree Jackson. If I can get Jabril Peppers, we will be good to go. Is Jabril still out there? I don't know about that. Oh, he is. You know we're doing it. I have to. Jabril Peppers is still only 26. It feels like he's so much older, but I did just do like a 20-year Giants franchise. So, you know, keeping track of time with real life and my series, never an easy thing. Especially if I've used a guy in like, you know, college and the pros, and then I watch him in real life. Like, good luck keeping it straight in my head there. Let's bring in AJ Dillon so I can mess around with the power back as well. That'd be fun. Quadzilla, as they call him. I did try Jabril Peppers at running back in the Browns rebuild. That became a bit of a channel meme. I had him play running back once in the Giants franchise. And actually, oh yeah, tight end would be nice too. I shouldn't overlook that. The thing is, though, I bet Irv Smith is still just like hanging around because his overall is so low. That or I'm taking Tommy Tremble. All right, I think Irv is gone. Let me bring in Tommy Tremble if his catching isn't trash. 77's good enough. Sliders are linked in the description if you want to check them out. So when I was doing the Giants franchise, I found out I moved him. So Jabril Peppers was listed at safety, and we had him as slot corner. And then I changed his position to running back and didn't touch the depth chart. What that allowed me to do was to have him at running back, but he was still listed at slot corner, and I was using him as a two-way player. It was one of the coolest things I found in that game. Yeah, David Ojabo. We have no pre-existing injuries on, so we're playing with him. Matt's set is for All Madden. He might put out an All-Pro version as well. He usually does once the All Madden set is kind of finalized. That's good to hear, Cameron. And I read through a lot of the thread, and it seems like people like this set. There are some who are still like, yeah, there's too many interceptions, but I think that's going to be on a very kind of case-by-case basis with your play style. If the CPU's throwing a lot of picks, I mean, that's obviously annoying if they're doing it too much. So we'll just have to see once we get into some games here. I forget what I've already drafted. Give me Teron Johnson. 45 interceptions in slow sim? On stock rosters? How do I feel with slow sim so far? Will I stick to no sliders? Most likely. Especially because we haven't even gotten like the first post-launch update. I think that there might be some weird things now, but it's not weird every game. I think it'll get cleaned up kind of naturally. Like, the main thing I'm noticing right now is the running game is not really a very big factor. But there have been games where we have ran well. There have been games where the opposition has run well. I'm not going to get into slider testing with it or messing around because I have done 5 prior franchises where I didn't have to touch anything. I don't see why I'd have to in this game, especially after a couple updates. Some things are definitely a bit off right now, but it's not consistently off. So I think that it's still better to just wait on it. Let's see. How do I have I have 2 linemen. That is not enough. I think you know what side I'm running to. Typically, when it comes to Madden, we get that first update around the start of September. So, you know, the game has been public now for almost 2 weeks. I don't think we're far away from the first update. How's my D-line looking here? I got Clowney. I got nobody else. That's fine. You know, that's pretty good. Tyson Alualu. I feel like he's been playing forever. I suppose I could get a backup quarterback here. Let's go with Tyrod Taylor. Yeah, I'm not sure how many times I'll stream this. It's just kind of to get a fantasy draft in and start slider testing and get some feedback here. Let's grab, I think I have 3 corners, don't I? I got a Dory, Bradbury, and Teron Johnson. I don't need Pat Pete that bad. Yeah, he was considered a bust. He was drafted very high by Jacksonville. I forget how high, but he was a first rounder. He might have been somewhere in the teens. I just don't know if he would have ever been a premier draft prospect. He's never really been a great pass rusher. Let's bring in Derek Barnett. Yeah, I've thought about that a lot, Jay. How many seasons I want to do with UTSA? I mean, realistically, if I end the series around the time the new college football game comes out, I think I can get through probably 5 to 7 years in that range. So my kind of idea is that this next season is Jacoby Criswell's senior year. And so we're going to have a new quarterback and probably a new era, I guess you could say, come year 4. If I can get into year 4 with a new quarterback and play out that player's career, I think that would feel pretty complete. So I think anywhere from 5 to 8 years is what that would take. We'll see. The other part too is, like, I'm still not done with Rockies, and I don't know, but I'm gonna do my best to get as far as I can, and I'm enjoying the games. And when I'm enjoying a game, I can grind. So that's always a huge positive. How to manually save franchise on PC. Oh yeah, I suppose touchpad button is the button on console. I'm not even sure. Do I have all my starters drafted? Because if so, I'd like to get to playing. I got Demario Davis there. David Ojabo. Let me get one more off-ball guy. Let's go Jermaine Carter. The music that's playing is always from the YouTube audio library. If you can find that, this one is called Subway Dreams. My biggest fear is finally getting a new college football game, and it's sucking. Yeah, I mean, people really, really like NCAA 14. So if the game comes out and there are things 14 does better, oh, that is not going to make people happy. That game needs to be a spiritual successor to NCAA 14 and build upon its road to glory, its dynasty, and leave nothing out that was already in the game. And that's just from a mode standpoint. Obviously, gameplay is going to be another talker. Let's bring in Wandale. Actually, sorry, I'm making an executive decision here. It's actually going to be Tyquan Thornton. I want to see how he plays in here. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. You know, it will be on the Madden engine. Like, that's the only way it could be done. You know, they haven't made a college football game in 2 console generations. Think about that. So, yeah, it's going to be Madden gameplay with probably some nuances, some changes. I think it's going to be probably tweaked a little bit to be more wide open. Defenses probably won't be as dominant. You know, they always did things to make NCAA 14 feel different, but also NCAA always felt better than Madden. Like, I don't know what it was exactly, but I could go on there, just fire up a game on Heisman, and it would be really awesome. Whereas you go to like Madden and play an all Madden game, and it's like, dude, this sucks. All Madden is terrible. Hey, Kane, thanks for streaming. Hope you're having a good night. Appreciate that, Alex. Thank you for the super chat. Yeah, it's going well. Let's bring in Kyle Rudolph. I'm a Vikings fan. He played there for a decade. Honestly, I would be happy getting NCAA 14 with new graphics and menus for starters. It's got to advance a lot in a gameplay front. Like, NCAA missed a lot of the features that did come to Madden, and some of the things Madden actually did well. You know, like, that was back when all the zones played the same. There was no match coverage. There was no hard flat. There was no nuance to zone coverage. It was your basic preseason spot dropping zone coverage, which is why 4 verticals was overpowered, which is why a lot of the same route concepts would get open over and over again. So that is a major change they did bring into Madden. And then the wide receiver DB animations as well. And they made the trenches a lot more powerful for the defense from time to time. Like, in that era of EA football games, whether it's NCAA, whether it's Madden, how often did you struggle on a 3rd and 1 to get that yard you needed? Or goal to go at the goal line? How often did you struggle to get that last yard? Probably not very often. And a lot of gameplay changes they made those yards a little more earned. Oh, I love a new head coach game, but that is a pipe dream and a half right there. Yeah, I like head coach a lot, which is why, you know, look how I play Madden on the 2nd channel. It's basically as much as I can to have a head coach experience in Madden. Outside of like calling the plays in coach mode, which I don't prefer to my experience because it's way faster. And instead I can build a game plan, which is essentially an algorithm that I can set to call the plays I'd want to call anyway. All right, I think that we are just about probably good here with our starters and everything. Let me bring in Justin Tucker. Maybe I'll find a couple more rookies. Let's go Michael Dixon. if I can find a couple more rookies I want to play with, I will. There are some. Let's bring in Calvin Austin. Just got a bug where a linebacker broke his collarbone in week 17. I put him on the IR. He practiced in week 18, got a high ankle, and it replaced the broken collarbone. Yes, players who are hurt still practice in training, and they can get hurt there. And that injury overrides whatever they had previously. So if you had a guy tear an ACL, he's still practicing. And he could then, you know, high ankle sprain, out for 1 week. And then after that week's over, you can play him. If that happens in one of my franchises, I'm going to stick to the original injury. And that player is going to be unavailable. All right, it's all backups at this point. Let's get to the end of the draft and start playing a little bit. Run full padded practices to intentionally clear a season ender. Yeah, that's the meta right there. That's how you gotta play. If you wouldn't mind dropping a like, I'd appreciate that. But yeah, I want to play at least one game here with this team and get a feel for the sliders. I'll probably test them out with some real teams as well, but I thought a fantasy draft stream would be fun. But see, it's the little things like that. And that has been an issue now for 2 Maddens. It's the kind of thing that needs to be fixed. A big issue I have is, like, they are not quickly fixing a lot of these problems. And when you have issues like that go on for multiple games, it's just really bad for the experience. And things like the slot receiver bias in sim stats. How long have we been dealing with that? Ever since they introduced those specialist draft positions or depth chart positions. Do a GM mode would totally be like something interesting, but I haven't watched any of that in years. I'm not sure I could actually present it without like a lot of like reintroduction. I don't know any of the new guys. I don't know most of the moves anymore. Like, it would totally be like my style, but I'm just so far out of it at this point. Matt 10 has a new version of his sliders up. Yeah, I unless he has version 3 out, I put these in my game like a half hour ago. I'm on version 2. Yeah. These updated yesterday. And I want to be, 8-minute quarters I think will give me a decent game. Not a sim length game, but good enough. Yeah, 8 minutes. All right. Yeah, these sliders are likely what I'll be using. I mean, I can't see me not using one of Matt's sets. Been here since the Raiders franchise in Madden 13. I've loved every second. I appreciate that, Ryan. Thank you. When do you plan to drop the Titans series? As soon as the sliders are ready, basically. So, I want to make sure the games are good and it creates a good experience. Last thing I want is to have like bad games, a bad start to a franchise. People aren't as interested. Like, you really want to have a strong first impression. And so they don't have to be perfect, but they have to be competitive and watchable. The goal is that by year 2, the sliders are in a really good spot. If in year 1 they're a little wonky here and there, like, I can live with that. But they've got to be decent to start. And they at least have to be a challenge. Just setting up my depth chart here, just about complete. And I'm looking forward to checking this out. I put the kicking sliders all the way up, go to Denver and kick a 100-yard field goal. What is the longest field goal possible? And does Madden even care about the Denver altitude? Because I'll tell you what, the show does. MLB The Show takes that into effect. What are these? Edge rushers. Roquan Smith? Where's Clowney? What are they doing? Seriously, where did Clowney go for my rush end? Are they for real right now? Oh, he's hurt. Well, that's just bad. I debated turning injuries off, but I'm even trying Matt's 55 fatigue on this set. I normally don't touch fatigue because I don't trust Madden to do it very well, but I will give it a try just for you, Matt, if you're watching. 55 fatigue. All right, let's play a game. So if you already had the Dynasty tool, Winston, if you just go and open it, it'll prompt you to download the new version. So that's how I got it. The sliders I'm using, by the way, are down below in the description. Matt 10 set from Operation Sports. Matt is a friend of mine, and if I have any slider needs, I will talk to him. I've talked about stuff with him with College Football Revamped. Just like, hey, if I need a little bit of this, what do you think about this slider or this penalty slider? Like, what do you think? Auto subs completely broke. Players would get subbed out and they would never return. Was it a fatigue issue or was it the auto subs? Because auto subs have been pretty busted for a long time, unfortunately. It's like oddly convenient, Winston. Like, the guys who have put together the NCAA 14 stuff, like, it just works. And it's like, oh, that was too easy. This stuff is supposed to be more complicated or more, you know, weird. Auto sub issue? All right. Yeah, it's really touchy, and it always sucks when you get to the fourth quarter and, like, a starting running back won't come out, and the receivers are all, like, the third, fourth, fifth, and a safety or something. I don't think that happens in this game, but it can in College Football Revamped and stuff. All right. All Madden. all day. Let's go. How do I feel about this Madden compared to the last couple? Well, I think this is definitely a better game than Madden 22 in most respects. And I think more so probably will be if they can tone down some of the interceptions and the sim stats. Like, I think this game takes Madden 22 and improves most of the things. I do like the changes to gameplay that have made coverage tighter, made man coverage better. But also, the running game feels like it needs a boost now. Sim stats are screwed up. In franchise mode, like scouting, I think is better. McCaffrey here, out across the 40-yard line. Sim stats are the big negative for me right now in franchise, but the free agency improvements, the scouting improvements do make it better than Madden 22. So I'm really forced to user here on defense. I don't prefer to user. I want to hold L1 basically and not have any impact on the play defensively. But I think I'll have to be controlling D linemen. And when I'm actually playing my series, like the bars there above my players, like that stuff's getting turned off. Like we're having a much cleaner interface for my series. You're not going to see the moves I'm trying to do. Ooh! This is the kind of thing I've been wanting from Madden for so long. I'm playing man coverage, all right? Who's that, Mike Evans? I'm playing man coverage, and he just is able to stick with him, not in an unnatural, I'm predicting your route kind of way, with actual technique and ability. The pass is there, but he jars it loose. Like, that's football. That's the kind of thing Madden wasn't doing. They just made the throwing windows so big, so your cousin that's never played the game before can hit a pass. But they do it on all difficulties. That's what I do, Proton. Like, I don't want to have an impact on defense. My job is to call the plays. You execute the coverage. Injuries. We have guys leaving left and right. I personally agree with that, John. If I had to pick one, the sim stats being too high or too low, like give me too high. But at the end of the day, get it right. Like, just get it right. This ain't rocket science. It's Teddy Bridgewater. And he's got nowhere to go. There are certain coverages I'll be able to use more in this game that I like never have a chance to really use. Like the coverage here is so good. Wow. Now, we don't want quarterbacks attempting a ton of throws like that. But again, I'm playing cover one hole here, and just the coverage is so good. Yeah, college football tomorrow, and that's part of why I'm making sure I have my video going out tomorrow. So, when do the games start? Probably noon. Uh-oh. That time he got open. Oh, we had a mismatch there. I didn't see that. Kenny Galladay. I don't think that Amazon buying EA rumor was at all true. That was a weird thing that came out this morning. And then it seemed to quickly be kind of shut down. One of the games tomorrow is like I don't know why, but there's a Big Ten game playing in Ireland. Jeez. Uncontested goes CMC. Let me pull up a schedule. So tomorrow, some of the games include, it's Nebraska and Northwestern in Dublin, Ireland at 11:30 in the morning. I don't know why they're playing in Dublin, but at least it's like a Big Ten game, and you don't have to, you can watch that instead of Florida State and Duquesne. Yeah, it's cool. Like, it's just like, how come those teams are over there? It's just my question. But whatever. It's besides the point. Calvin Austin. Oh, why do they have tackle battles in the game, man? I'm going to lose 90% of those. And not on purpose, but because it's just a gimmick. And I'm not used to it. So, who else we got tomorrow? UConn, Utah State. Wyoming and Illinois. North Texas and UTEP. Vanderbilt and Hawaii. Nevada and New Mexico State. Those are like the best games. Because you have some other ones that are like, you know, Florida Atlantic and Charlotte. North Carolina, Florida A&M. I want to watch the more even matchups. All right, I got to focus up here if I want to at all pass effectively in this game. Give me that. Let me get a little A.J. Dillon going here on this next run. Yeah, I mean, I've been doing CPU stuff since, you know, I stopped the Broncos franchise. I haven't done a new one since. So this play calling on next gen, I'm still not used to it. The whole menu there, and I don't really like it. You know, so many games go to these interfaces now that just like, we need everything to take up the whole screen. Make everything 4 times the size it needs to be. It's so weird. Why does it have to look like a tablet? No! Oh boy, Jalen almost got into trouble on that one. Like, these plays do not need to be that size. Keep in Hill. We got a long way to go on this 3rd down. Ah. Yeah, throwing those intermediate routes is going to be really tough. Anything that's a long developer is going to be really tough. And so that's part of why I'm excited to start off with the Titans, because I know with their receivers, I'm not going to want to run a very complex passing game. I have only one good route runner on the entire team. And it's not a deep receiving core either. So I can kind of get used to it with a team where I shouldn't be trying to do much anyway. And I kind of have a philosophy when it comes to this video game football knocked away. I think I'm way better taking out more of the intermediate stuff. I feel like that's where I get into a lot of trouble. Some of those slower developers and more complex plays. Heaving one off the mark is Teddy. I feel like I'm better at short and deep. take the deep if you have an advantageous look, or go underneath. And not really focus so much on the intermediates if you don't have to. We got Teddy 3 of 8 here. How close were you to picking the Steelers? Pretty close. I mean, I think the final teams I was considering were it was kind of the Saints, Steelers, and Titans. But when I looked more into the rosters and I saw how little I felt Tennessee had to work with, it was like, oh, this is a team that might not be in rebuild mode right now, but they could maybe be rebuilding soon. Maybe I get ahead of the curve. And the other part was like, okay, what do I want to do with my building? What do I kind of want to focus on? And I really wanted to focus on, throwing out of the sack to get picked off. That kind of throw is going to get you into so much trouble. Let me see. I think I have to get better too at stepping up in the pocket. Yeah, I mean, this is why I'm talking about getting rid of more of the intermediate stuff. Like, how long am I standing there in the pocket? This is not a game where you want to stand in the pocket to make a that's a long developer too. It's not, you're not supposed to hit that throw that far, that late. So, and I just don't think I'm great in the intermediate range. To me, it's deep and it's short. Forget the intermediate. Thought that was play action. Yeah, the Colts, you know, toward the end, I was really considering them because it's like, all right, you got Matt Ryan, but how long do you want to play with him? And they don't have a lot of receivers either. They got Pittman, you know, they got Paris Campbell, Alec Pierce, but, and also Jonathan Taylor. As Teddy heaves one dangerously, and it's knocked away. Yeah, he's looking downfield an awful lot. This is not Teddy Bridgewater's normal play style here. Can't get the pressure we wanted, and that's out of bounds. 3 of 10. Pick a number 1 through 7. 6. Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of these plays I think are meant to go vertical, so that's why Teddy is going deep. It is, like you said, a playbook more built for Jameis, and Teddy's in it now just trying to play like Jameis. So, you gotta keep in mind, what plays are they calling? If they keep calling deep shots and he's throwing deep shots, well, then it's the play calling, not the tendencies of the gameplay. So, let me see if I can get a drive going here. Just, what is this play? Oh, are you faking left, screen to the right? Yikes. Cool play design, though. I haven't seen that one before in Madden. Oh, yeah, I have Devontae. There he is. Get off me. Just kind of threw it to him because he's Devontae Adams, and it worked. Oh! I don't want to see a back handspring here. after a first down. I've never seen that. At this point, Jake really just focused on getting the Titans going. Yeah, the one thing I'm noticing here is, like, it feels like everything concentrates to the middle of the field. Like, the blocks aren't getting any kind of a push. Feels like you're operating in such a tight space. Pitch, receiver, reverse. I'm curious about it, but I know it would lose 7 yards. Ooh. They got some cool play action plays in here. I like it. Check that one out. You got your deep cross by Adams, but also your big shot to Wilson if he's somehow open. No, you're out of bounds. I'm finding it awful tough to get things established here. Give me Adams, all right? That was better. Got good protection on there. Oh, yeah, I really wish that sports games would embrace PC better. Like, Madden comes out, but it's the last gen version, so it's like, who cares? Why are you running so slow? You're Jalen Hurts. That was... I should have had more yards than that. Because, like, I know with mods, like, we wouldn't have to wait for EA to fix all this stuff. I know people with mods would do a lot of it. And so I'd want, like, the best version of the game to play, preferably. But that doesn't exist. It's still a last-gen version. Give me that. I'm kind of liking this Atlanta playbook. Yeah, if Madden on PC was next gen, I'd be playing on it right now. Knowing that eventually there might be a mod or something that would benefit me. Oh. Come on, we had him wide open right there, Jalen. Not only did we get a decent little one-on-one, he's playing hard flat there. So pre-snap, I'm like, all right, we're just going to see if he can win. He doesn't even cover him. But Hurts just can't put the ball where it needs to be. Dylan grinding in for the touchdown. No, I'm not using freeform passing, so I have to focus more on quarterback ratings. I would use freeform if I were playing online. But because it's the same thing as using a PCI in MLB The Show. I'm not going to use it in franchise because that's where I want ratings to matter the most. So I'm not going to use a skill-based mechanic. I don't play franchise competitively. I play it for a story. That was a fun drive. I got it going there. His short accuracy was only like an 86. And he's basically hit all the short throws I've wanted to this point until that one. And he still threw it catchable. That's the thing. There's so much nuance to accuracy, and Madden is starting to get it right there, where a ball can be catchable and still be a bad throw. And Madden never really captured that very well. You'd have guys throw a perfect ball, or they'd miss by 3 yards and throw it right to a defender. But how often would, you know, it be out of reach, he has to adjust to make an awkward catch? Or it's just a little bit low, maybe make a catch, but now it's a tougher play. Defender's right there, he jars it loose. Things like that. How do you feel on realism when it comes to franchise, where you draw the line when it comes to, say, re-signing some or trading a star player? Oh, boy. You know, I don't really try to do anything too extra there. Like, if I'm able to sign a player and I want to, I typically will. I wish that the game did more to, like, maybe a player just refuses to negotiate at all, no matter the amount of money you're willing to offer. That's something they should put into the game, but I know they're hesitant to because, you know, if you're playing with a star player who refuses to re-sign, that's going to be a big problem, especially if they don't get the logic right. Like, imagine a player refuses to negotiate, but it doesn't even make sense why he wouldn't. Like, there's so many layers to this, and, like, my end goal, what I want to see with franchise is so far advanced, and I know that we're just so far away from my vision. Would I ever buy a fully electric vehicle? Yeah. I mean, if I were wanting a new vehicle, I've been interested for a while, but I'd probably still wait it out a little bit for me. End zone shot now. Back of the end zone for Mike Evans. How about that? James Bradbury was in coverage, couldn't make the play. Oh, wow. He turned you down after 2 tries. Used to always be 3 before being locked out. That's interesting. I'll have to keep that in mind. I thought it was always like a 3-strike system. Feels like Teddy had a lot more time on this drive. He got to play his kind of game. I gotta say, I like a lot of what I'm feeling here with these sliders. I was wondering there if Bradbury would close the gap in the air. Just couldn't do it. Want to see it one more at full speed? Pylon goes flying too. I think the sliders honestly are feeling pretty decent. They're going to review that. You know, I'm going to play multiple games with it. I don't know how many I'll get to tonight. But, you know, I'll be playing some of this on my own and trying to get a good feel for things. And I'll offer Matt any feedback I have. And I can go back and forth with him. Because sometimes he sees something with the sliders, and here's Calvin Austin. We're going to break this one big time. But sometimes Matt knows something needs to be adjusted, perhaps. And he knows how I look at the game, too. So if I come at him with feedback and he's like, yeah, I was kind of thinking the same thing. Then he kind of realizes, like, all right, maybe there is something we have to change here, and here's how I'm going to tweak it. So I think when we've worked together on stuff before, it's gone really well. Somebody asked earlier about the Eagles in franchise mode. I was, I think, mid-sentence or something, so I didn't see it or didn't remember to mention it. But the Eagles are a really solid team in the game. Like, they're not one of the best teams, so, like, they're a good team if you want a team that's not easy, but also not a rebuild. So they're kind of mid-tier, but I do like their roster overall a lot. They have weapons on offense. They have a quarterback who's fun to play with. And defensively, it's not great, but they got some good pieces. A good defensive front. Jordan Davis, the rookie. Darius Slay at corner. You know, it's a team that you can compete with while adding on pieces to get more legitimately Super Bowl ready. Teddy. Got him. And actually, I said this before. I think the Eagles are winning the East this year. I think the Eagles are in really good shape at the moment. And I don't think Dallas is bad, but I don't think Dallas is as good as they were a year ago. Oh, he flipped it. They did not beat a winning team last year. You're right. They had they won easy games. But they also didn't trip up in those games, you know. Other teams in the mid-tier like the Vikings, you know, they gave away a game late to the Lions. They lost a game they shouldn't have to the Browns, who also missed the playoffs. You know, they didn't have impressive wins, but there is something to be said about not tripping up in those games either. I feel like we're seeing Teddy kind of advance in this game now and play a lot more like Teddy. Second down. Uh-oh. See, this is another thing where it's like, I don't totally buy the whole field sense physics thing. Like, I get there is more elements where they're like trying to use physics to determine outcomes. This is still an animation-based game, though. As you see McCaffrey not able to like stay in bounds, and he's not even trying to really stay in bounds. He's just triggering an animation because that's how the game is played. Hey, Jacob, that's plenty. Thank you very much. Colts fan, are you excited for another year with a new quarterback? Do they use their timeout effectively? They do. Would you have considered Tampa Bay for your franchise team? For my series cash out, I wouldn't have, just because a Super Bowl 2 years ago, and it's not really a rebuild. It's more of like replace Tom Brady. Oh no. And he missed it too. That's a yikes. Appreciate all the work you put in for us. Thank you, Ryan. I had a lot of fun doing this. Do it again. I wasn't even trying that time, but I guess it was more automatic. Maybe I should have. I feel like I still owe the Miami Dolphins a franchise. I've tried twice. First one, Madden 19. I just didn't like the updates where gameplay was. It felt impossible to fix, and I just grew too frustrated and had to stop the franchise. And then I come back. NFL head coach. I got you this time, Dolphins. I got fired after the first year. We had one win. It wasn't enough.
Okay, ready? Ready?
Yes, this is what I do full time. Because y'all allow me to do that. I just know I can trust Devontae. And that's such a good feeling. I really don't think the Bears are as bad as everyone is calling them out to be. Good coaching will be the difference. I believe they are a 7-9 win team. Coaching can make a big difference if you really like, you know, Eberflus and who's there. I really don't know personally. what to really expect. It feels like everything there is kind of flown under the radar. For the Bears to have a good season, like, let's talk about what that looks like. And a good season for them is to just be a competitive team that can win 6 to 7 games, really. Expectations are not high. If they won 7 games, that is... Their Vegas win total is either 4.5 or 5.5. They would be outperforming their Vegas win total by 1 to 2 games, which is significant. For that to happen, Justin Fields needs a lot of development with an offense that hasn't developed around him. They didn't really add a lot of players in the offseason. They didn't make a free agent move that was significant to me. Now, I like Montgomery, and I like Herbert as well behind him, but I'm critical of the offensive line. I just don't see it with the offense. And I've watched enough football to see, like, a good defense with a terrible offense. That team still can't win much more than 5 games or so. I've seen enough Browns teams with good defenses and awful offenses. Same thing with the Jets. To me, like, the conversation ends after the offense, because I don't really care how good the defense is. It's not going to be good enough to get 7 or 8 wins. Do I feel like the new NCAA will be a disappointment? The only thing I worry about is, like, the gameplay. If it's like Madden copy paste. From a feature standpoint, I'm feeling somewhat okay about it because they didn't rush it out. We've known about this game for a long time, but I think they've taken at least 3 years of development. And to me, you would do that to flesh out the modes. People do not come to NCAA because they want your Ultimate Team pack opening experience. I am very certain there will be an Ultimate Team in there. However, EA has to strategize. NCAA comes out in July. Madden comes out in August. Both football games. Can you really support 2 live service, card-based Ultimate Team modes? They might just try that. Try to stick both hands in the cookie jar, get their arms stuck, and just deal with it. But they could also say that we don't need to compete with ourselves, and this should be a game that caters to what college football is all about. And that's what I'm hoping they're doing. I'm not confident that's going to be the case. Nice. But when they've taken as many years as they have, when Madden already exists, now they do have to create teams, stadiums, uniforms, rosters. I get that. But I like to believe they're making the modes proper. Ooh! I gotta say, I'm liking this. How can they do Ultimate Team for college? Well, I mean, they might just be able to put in all the players, but otherwise it would be historic players. And honestly, NCAA Football Ultimate Team in 14 was pretty cool because it was like all the iconic players from the years they, you know, were so good. You know, you could have, say, Texas Vince Young and USC Reggie Bush playing alongside, you know, hypothetically speaking here, let's talk about Joe Burrow at LSU and Jamar Chase. And then, you know, Calvin Ridley, Amari Cooper at Alabama. That kind of thing. Man, I screwed up a good thing. Yeah, that's right. That was a frustration hit there by Jalen Hurts. Glad to have finally joined the channel membership recently. What's your channel Mount Rushmore, offense and defense? Damien. The Mount Rushmore of offense. To me, Reggie Shepard. If we're sticking to the main channel, because I'm on the main channel right now, I will stick to the main channel. It would be probably Reggie Shepard, Who would be the quarterback on there? Because I feel like Nataki Mason was one of the best quarterbacks they ever had. And then... the second channel would be different because there are so many quarterbacks to pick from. Okay. It has to be Brandon Warren from Kalispell. I just think that we got so much with him. Mike Evans. Brandon Warren, Reggie Shepard, Hayden Jean-Charles to me. Absolute best tight end. And if you want to throw a running back on there, I'm trying to think of like players I drafted. Running back Steven Smiley. I don't know if he's Hall of Fame, Mount Rushmore caliber. What running back though? On defense, Boogie Turner. Oh yeah, the defense would be, Boogie Turner, arguably Jamari Akinjide. Nate Bell has to be on there. And then at linebacker, who do you even pick? I've had so many good ones across the channel. Marcus Calhoun. Yeah, you got to go Marcus Calhoun. You sit in zone all day, they'll pick you apart. You got to use a little more man-to-man in this game. Running back from Tampa, that was a 6th-round pick. See, that would be second channel Mount Rushmore. I see what you're saying there. CMC just broke my ankles in half. I don't even have ankles anymore after that move. I'm trying to remember his name now. Ellis Norton. I mean, come on. You get off that block just to end up on Christian McCaffrey's highlight reel. Tough scene. This is fun. I'm honestly really enjoying this game. Also, how do I get back into baseball? I was a Tigers fan when I did watch, and I still had Prince Fielder. Yeah, Tigers have had, a rough decade. Honestly, for me, playing a lot of the show helped because it got me to see a lot of players on a lot of teams. And the show is just such a fun game. I could sit here and play that all day long. I love the show. The gameplay to me is top notch.
Here we go, here we go.
Like, I just got into heavy with the show, first off. And then I got into playing fantasy baseball and wanting to do well there. I threw it so late. I threw that ball so late, I actually threw it tomorrow. Timing matters. I'm going to throw so many interceptions in year one of the Titans franchise. I already know it. Honestly, though, I don't think I would have gotten into baseball as heavily again without this show. It was such a big help for me. Internet Explorer at quarterback. Bro, don't even. Internet Explorer at quarterback. Dude, like, some of these plays. Like, these completion percentages are enough to make me shed a tear. This is what I've been looking for years. From a stat standpoint, some of the process is weird. More man coverage. I want to see that one again. Those quick out routes might be more of an issue. He stayed in his back pedal too long. There are a lot of avenues to go with the Titans. Like, you know, you can make it work with Tannehill. You can add a couple playmakers on offense, maybe a guy on defense, and start to be back competing in the AFC again. I think in year one it's tough. I'm just not sure enough is there. You can also turn it over to Malik Willis and try to win with the Derrick Henry era Titans. But that's going to take some time to develop him. Or, you know, you can trade Kevin Byard, Jeffrey Simmons, and try to start more of a serious rebuild. Maybe you move on from Derrick Henry. There are a lot of ways to go. They just audible on me? Teddy just audible? Bridgewater, got him. Galladay. Thanks for the years of quality content. Glad to see a main channel franchise back this year. I won't say the last 3 words, though. Appreciate that, Albert. You know, the Packers fans have shown me a lot of love over the years. I will say that. Seeing Mike Evans on the Saints is hurting me. Yeah, he's going to add a fleur-de-lis to the sleeve, you know. Really going to embrace New Orleans. How's the Friday night? Friday night's great. It's awesome. We're having a fun time. Drafted probably a bad team, honestly, but like I'm having a good time playing, testing out these sliders. Jalen Hurts is yelling at everybody. It's not my fault. He's throwing the picks. He's got the controller. That's what I imagine he's saying. One of my touchdowns is with Calvin Austin, so I've really not done much on offense. How's the weather? Getting better. Like, it's sunny and hot, but like 8 degrees colder than normal. It's fantastic. I love the Nick Mullins trade. I think he's one of the better backups in the league, and the Vikings got him for essentially nothing. A future 7th round pick if he makes the team. No. That was illegal. So for an MLB franchise, the Nationals still a decent team, even though they just loaded up with talent? Yeah. Like, they just, if you're doing it post Juan Soto trade, I still think that there's plenty to do there. Like, you have more prospects and young guys to work with, and you got Mackenzie Gore and C.J. Abrams from the Padres. So it's a legitimate, like, full-on rebuild just with some decent prospects to get started. Yeah, I do live in Texas. Give me that. Oh, the pressure forced it out in the front. I'm enjoying this more than I thought I would be. I'm trying to gift subs. Is that option enabled? I mean, I think so. I appreciate that, by the way. I don't think anybody's gifted on the main channel yet. I think one person did on the second channel. But I haven't... I don't know if I have to enable anything. I imagine if I have it on one channel, I did it to both. I could be wrong. Oh. Ah, come on. As a person moving to Texas next year, anything I should be ready for besides the obvious heat? Prepare twice for the heat. Yeah, Devontae! I'm having a lot of fun here with Devontae Adams when I do throw it his way. This is Matt 10 said he updated yesterday, and I'm like really digging it. Like top to bottom. User running game, CPU running game, the pass game feels good. Like, I'm not supposed to have that much fun here playing fantasy draft, yet I am. Give me that. Damien. Was that a gift right there? Did that work? It says new member. I think you were just already a member, no? Oh, yeah. Feed your best guy, Davante Adams. Fatigue hasn't been an issue for me yet. That is something you have to test. Matt loves his fatigue tweaking. Oh, also, if you weren't already a member, Damien, I think you have to be a member in order to gift memberships. That's part of it. A live stream exclusive again, like Blitz and Walking Dead. Yeah, I kind of thought about making All Pro Football a stream series and then editing it down to videos for the second channel. Member in both channels now. Let's go, Damien. Thank you. I got to get some badges up over on the second channel. I haven't made them yet. I want to make them different than the main channel ones. I really appreciate that. Who shall rebuild first? Texans or the Bears? Go Texans first. You got a few rookies to play with. Chicago will be there later when you want the full rebuild. I still think that's a team that needs big time rebuild. They have already overhauled so much of the roster. Like, they are cleaning house. Yeah, I think, like, the All-Pro Football, it's like a very fan service-y type of deal, but it's also not meant to be super serious. You know, I'm going to take the game seriously, but it's just meant to be a fun one-season series, and I think streaming it would just be a good time, and then I can turn it into episodes when I'm done. So there's a join button next to the subscribe button if you want to become a member. Now, being a member, it's $4.99 a month, and that you know, helps support me here, creating here. And it also gets you access to a few perks, such as the channel member stream I do every month. And actually, the one for August will be on Sunday afternoon. And in those channel member streams, often I'm getting gameplay for like the Rockies or something, but also I talk about upcoming plans for the channel. I get some feedback on some things I've been thinking about, and it's kind of the first place I talk about a lot of stuff. Like when I brought back UTSA, that was the first place people knew. And whether you're a member on the main channel or the second channel, you have access to the same stream. It's completely optional, but that's the main perk there. It's like an hour-and-a-half long stream. A lot like this, you know. I'm just hanging out, playing, talking. But those usually I focus on, all right, how's the channel doing right now? Like, how are the series doing? What do I want to do over the next 30 days? What new things do I want to check out? What things do I need feedback on? Mike is in the house. That was really fun. Like, Teddy went 17 for 27. Now, early on, he was just chucking up Hail Marys, and it was like, oh, I don't know about this. But then we couldn't get pressure as well, and Teddy was just playing his game. CMC was tough the entire time. I eventually got some runs going with Breece Hall. I definitely got Mike Evans. No, they did. And Kenny Galladay. But I got Davante Adams going. It was very clear where I wanted to go with the football there. Teron Johnson, 11 tackles. Darby, 9 tackles. That's one thing I might point out to Matt if I see it show up a lot. Like, all the tackle leaders here are defensive backs. What do we think about that? But it's a thing I have to see be a problem for multiple games. What's the meaning behind the badges you created? So, for me, the badges, the color scheme was to kind of be a throwback to the Minnesota Dynasty. So like the multi-year badges have the maroon and gold color scheme. So that 1 year badge kind of looks like an Andy McKenzie jersey. Can't find the gift sub option here. So one last super chat to the member stream. Appreciate your content, Kane. Thank you very much, Damien. I'll check if that's on, because it might be something I have to toggle, and I just missed it. And if so, thank you for the heads up. But I will leave myself a note. I got a buddy who's a Panther fan who was like pretty excited about Baker Mayfield tonight. I saw the one throw, his touchdown, the one that looked like impossible. So that's obviously a positive. I want to see that. I want to see Baker work out there. Like, I still believe in Baker. Last year's version of Baker Mayfield wasn't very good. I don't think he was healthy. Well, we know he wasn't healthy. But I think the main problem was the accuracy. I don't think it was, playing scared or anything like that. I don't think it was something unfixable. As long as his shoulder is healed and stuff, I still believe in him. Like, Baker had a couple really good years with Cleveland. And I feel like so much was forgotten in the last year. And he was that bad a year ago. Like, he was pretty terrible. But I don't think that's his permanent place. East Coast King. Thank you very much for the super chat. What do I think the Bears will do with Roquan Smith? Maybe mid-season if somebody's offering a lot. If the price ain't right, let it ride for now. I'm guessing they weren't overwhelmed by offers. If I had to guess, the top offer for Roquan probably would have been a third-round pick or something. And I'd be holding out for more if I were them too. That's just a guess, by the way. Will I keep superstar abilities on? Probably at first. We'll see how it goes. I didn't use them in the Broncos series. I also don't know a lot about the abilities because I just don't pay attention to them. So in Madden 20, there were definitely some that were overpowered. And it really impacted pass rushing. I don't know how it is now. Predictions for Packers-Vikings week 1. Vikings win. It's the home game. Week 1. Little experience with those receivers for Rodgers. I think Vikings find a way in that one. Like, if I had to pick when to play the Packers, I'd probably say week 2 or 3. Get your feet wet and then take them on. Week 1's not the best, but I think when you think about that offense, they'll probably be a lot better by the end of the year than they are at the start. So give me week 1 against Green Bay, especially at home. Also, I'm a Vikings fan, and if I'm feeling at all optimistic, probably just going to pick them to win. All right, if Singletary runs on us like CMC, we got a problem here. KOC will do wonders for you, I think. I'm hopeful. Like, it's fun that they're going to have like a more modern offense, an offensive mind at head coach again. It's been a while since they had that. Oh, what a throw! Desmond Ridder. That was nice. Oh, beautiful play. That was Jackson who got beat.
Let's go.
I haven't, Rams, just because I don't always want to talk about real football or the Vikings, but when I do, I come to the main channel for it. Picked off. Oh, I thought you would know how to lateral. Did we work on that? Oops. Oh, Packers defense could totally change that because, like, the Packers defense should be one of the top 5 in the NFL. We got pressure. Forced a bad throw. And all I'm doing, this is a very basic maneuver. And Artie Burns just doesn't quite understand the way we play football. We do things different. You know how many times I have to like hold back doing a lateral like that in a series because if it goes terribly wrong, that's a bad look for your boy here. So I imagine in the members stream, I'll probably be playing more of this, getting further testing done in that to see what I think. But if it keeps playing like that first game, you're ready for Tennessee Titans franchise. Jalen Hurts. I do trigger. I think Justin Jefferson's going to be the best receiver in the NFL. Oh, I hope Sedarius is a captain week 1 at least. Please inject that into my veins. Who was the corner trying to lateral to? Whoever the closest guy was, it just didn't work. Drake London is not the player to do this with, but we are doing it with Drake London anyway. Woo! That sure worked. Thoughts on Dameon Pierce for fantasy this year? Good question. Running backs are very dependent on their situation. So, because it's the Texans offense, I don't like him as like a top performer. And like, I don't think anyone's expecting him to be top 5, top 10. But I even have some hesitation for top 15. I think he's going to get volume. And I think he'll be a fine, RB2 flex type. But I still, unless that offense is better than we expect, and maybe it will be. But if you're drafting Dameon Pierce, you need to also be comfortable drafting the Texans offense. Because, you want the connection to Davis Mills and Brandon Cooks to lead the red zone trips where Dameon Pierce can get touchdowns. The top performers in fantasy at running back are the guys who tend to get the touchdowns. So if Dameon Pierce has 4 touchdowns this year, he probably didn't win you league or make the biggest difference. But I think the volume will be there. I don't think the running backs on that roster are going to be able to take it from him. I honestly don't mind the idea. Tommy Tremble! I don't mind the idea of starting to trade more with division foes when you think you have an edge. I just don't think he found it in that Lions trade. The Packer trade was better to me from a value standpoint. But the Lions trade, to me, it was too little to get in return for how far they fell in the draft. There are some charts that felt like it was a fine value for the Vikings. I disagree, personally. Was that me getting too greedy? Or can I find a way to blame Jalen Hurts on this one? Like, that's way out front. Like, if the safety isn't there, he's catching it. I guess I want that ball. I want it. You see where I want it. Like, right there. Maybe my pass lead. It was my fault. New UTSA off season tomorrow. Recorded it today. Got to use the new Dynasty tool update, which didn't really change the offseason at all. But, uh-oh. And a penalty? Yeah, the word on Ingram is pretty good in camp, and it sounds like he's the starting right guard.
Here we go.
What I'm curious with Green Bay is what their receiver depth chart ultimately plays out like. Because I am right away picturing Sammy Watkins, Randall Cobb, Romeo Doubs. Christian Watson, he's been on the PUP list. He's raw anyway. I think he's in year one, he's your prototypical fourth receiver who is usually a guy you bring in sparingly to be a deep threat. Kind of like the role Van Jefferson was playing for the Rams. Ooh, off the mark. Before the Robert Woods injury. They went for it on fourth down, and we stopped him. That Troy Dye, I know Troy Dye from a mile away because he doesn't have any accessories. He's like a 1950s linebacker, he wears a uniform. There are no sweatbands, there's no shooter sleeve, there's no wristband. Nothing, no gloves. Unfortunately, I'm a Van Jefferson guy too, but unfortunately banged up in camp, hurt. Probably getting a late jump here in the season. I'd like to think Patterson can be good again. I think last year was probably the high end of what he's capable of. But I've been banging the table, man, for Patterson to play running back for like 8 years. So I got a heavy dose of confirmation bias last year that says keep it going. Let the good times roll. Give me that. No! I really just need to get one of those like Steam decks. Well, that too. Stream Deck, where I can just hit a button. I need that music on hand. I want it to be a button press away. Saw something about your Vikings trading for quarterback Nick Mullins. Thoughts? Yeah, I talked about that a little bit earlier, Jonathan. I think it's a great trade. Kellen Mond is a QB3. He is a development-only guy. He cannot play as a backup quarterback at this stage. He'll show some flashes, but he is not capable of being an effective backup quarterback right now. Sean Mannion, I just don't think he's very good. He should probably be like a quarterback coach or something. Sean Mannion is not a threat. So Nick Mullins is a legitimate backup quarterback, and I love the move to get him. I was nervous about how they go into the season handling that situation, but it took care of it. Mike, be nicer. Have I watched Purple Daily, Score North with Phil Mackey, Declan Judd? I listen to those guys all the time. When I'm on a walk or doing yard work, that's exactly what I'm listening to. I listen to those guys a lot. I've been listening to like Mackey and Judd for almost a decade. When they were on 1500 ESPN. I didn't even know the Twin Cities had an ESPN affiliate. And then one day I stumble across it. And I'm like, oh. I've been kind of following them ever since. Honestly. Oh, Ritter just. Oh, that's so risky.
Ready.
1 second. Ooh, Ritter missed again. Yeah, that accuracy is going to matter this year a lot.
Here we go. Here we go.
The Patriots for a franchise, I took a look at them. It's not a bad roster, but it's a good rebuild choice because the Patriots don't have a lot of top-end talent. It's just a bunch of really solid guys. If you go to their team, there is a laughable amount of star dev players who are like low 80s. But I also think that they're a good choice because you're in the same division as Buffalo, and they're clearly in the top of the class in the AFC. And when you think about the skill players on offense, it's not special. Like you can be successful with Ramondre Stevenson and Damian Harris. The receivers, though, are not like difference makers at the moment. I think Tyquan Thornton, you want to turn him into one, hopefully. He's tailor-made for a Madden rebuild. I mean, easy. But there's still plenty of room for you to add your own playmakers. Ooh, thank you for dropping one. You should do a write that down. One of the write that down is the team to win the Super Bowl and year one of the Titans franchise wins Super Bowl in real life. Oh, that's been right on the channel so many times. I do love the inaccuracy in this game. Like, that is a difficult throw. I know it's a 5-yard or 7-yard throw, but like, that's just what it is lengthwise. This is a difficult throw. I don't know how far this travels in the air, but that is really an intermediate kind of throw because of how wide it is. We're left hash. He is outside the numbers, and quarterbacks miss this throw every week. Aaron Rodgers misses that throw. Tom Brady misses that throw here and there. So obviously Jalen Hurts should be missing it too. Am I ignoring the GOAT, Kendrick Bourne? I forgot about the GOAT. Nelson Aguilar, Kendrick Bourne. I can't even list all the receivers right now. I'm rusty. Let me pull up our lads. Sorry, I'm trying to see through my mic stand. Not exactly transparent.
Ready.
Patriots depth chart. Let me get one more play in here. Underneath. Stopped him. Devontae Parker, that's right. Kendrick Bourne, Jacoby Myers, Nelson Aguilar, Tyquan Thornton, Lil Jordan Humphrey. Myers is solid.
Let's go.
Solid possession guy. But nobody on there is like an alpha. No. Get back here, Devin Singletary. Kane, if you turn off Chew Clock, you get a smoother gameplay. I was reading about that on the forum, Aaron. I might have to test that out. Even though, like, I really want accelerated clock. I don't like playing without it. Ugh. Where's my pass rush? Thoughts on Wagner joining the Rams? I like it.
Here we go.
They haven't really had that impact linebacker. I think Wagner can still do some of that. Beautiful play. Jabril Peppers would never let me down. Jabril Peppers is the man. Probably my last game, Trace. I wasn't even expecting to play 2, but the first one was so fun, I had to come back for a second helping. I didn't see the video with Donald, so he really was just swinging helmets around. I was reading that when it comes to discipline in practice like that, that it's not a league thing, it is a team thing. Now, I didn't see like how close he may have come into contact with anybody or like how much danger there was. But like if he was going after players legitimately as a threat with helmets, I don't see how you can do nothing. Tough run there for Brees. Definitely hit people. Yeah, I guess I'll have to see, but you know, if it has to be mandated by the team, they're probably not going to do much unless there's a lot of outcry. Let's see if I can put together a 2-minute. Oh, I am a huge Thibodeau fan. Like, I thought he should be the #1 pick in the draft. I think Kayvon can be a double-digit sack guy, like, right away. Big believer in him. Even though user running is feeling pretty nice. We thought it would be a smart idea for a joint practice between both teams that were in the Super Bowl. No kidding. That was obviously going to be feisty, and maybe that's what they were going for. I also wonder, I don't know how often those things are planned in advance. So I don't know if they had like a prior agreement that they would go there this year, or if it was something they set up in the last couple months. Oh, when the timing is right. Oh, it's so nice. Yeah, if he asked Zach Taylor, maybe that's what he was going for, though. Maybe he was like, could that have been McVay's way of like trying to keep them playing with an edge going into the new season, not trying to get too full of themselves? I'm going to go for it here. Because from like a coaching psychology standpoint, I would kind of understand that. Like, hey, get ready for the season. This team that you beat in the Super Bowl is coming to town. They hate you. I think when you look at it that way, it's kind of interesting. Okay, I guess we'll play the music one more time. Last interception of the night, guaranteed. Oh, one more half of football, Samuel. 37 months. That's a long time. That's a lot of months. Appreciate it, Sammy. Finally in college, first year. Congrats to you. Must be just getting started. Hope you're getting acclimated well. Ritter. Why do I get one? Hey, I got positive Twins notifications. Gary Sanchez hit a home run? Really? He stopped doing that a while ago. Celestino doubled. Miranda, Correa. They must be blowing out San Francisco right now. Good play. The Twins scoring runs? No way. Ooh. We seem to be pretty late on those out routes, but I am playing off coverage, so it's like defender's at a disadvantage on a 5-yard route like that. Maybe I should be pressing a bit more if I'm going to play man-to-man. Don't play scared. You got safety help for a reason. get in their face. 8-0. Wow. I gotta think. Oh, come on. I gotta think T.Y. McGill makes the roster. The Vikings don't have a lot of interior rush, and he's clearly standing out. Whether or not it can last is kind of irrelevant because they don't have much there. He's making plays. You got to find a spot for him. Yes, it is Camden, and I'm really liking it. At Isaiah McKenzie. Safety with an ugly play here. Jabril, no. Why does that have to be you? Like, Troy Dye is already playing to this left side from our perspective here. Peppers, it was like he wasn't even there. That played like single coverage. The Angels are such a disappointment is what I think about them. You got two of the best players in the world. And I know Trout's been hurt. I know Rendon's been hurt. But the fact that they're in this position is like... If they end up having to trade him because Ohtani is going to want out and they got to get something, that's just on another level kind of bad. Who is better, New York Gary Sanchez or Minnesota Gary Sanchez? Give me New York Gary Sanchez. Like, I like the way he started out this year for the Twins, but then he didn't hit a home run for like a month and a half, 2 months, and it was like, okay, if he's not hitting home runs, what does he bring into the team? Not a whole lot. Kane, starting my Texans rebuild, and would you recommend turning progressive fatigue off or leaving it on? In my experience in this game, I haven't had an issue with it yet, but I would pay attention. Keep it on to start unless it becomes a problem. Quick, we have polls here on YouTube. We are going to use it. Let me know. What do you think of the sliders and the gameplay you've seen tonight? Is this ready for a franchise? Oh, come on. Not able to make streams often, but it's always a great time. Can't wait for the Titans series. Keep up the great work. Shout out to you, Blake. Thank you very much. I'm excited for the Titans. I'm even more excited now. And hey, if you are critical of the gameplay, I want to hear that too. You know? I ask because I can handle the answer. Ugh. I feel like I'm going to throw a lot of picks, though. Probably not this weekend, but like early next week, possibly. Please, EA, do not drop a patch the day I try to play. That's good to hear. A lot of people with this slider set are having a good experience so far. We are at 72% yes, 28 no. Try 50 injury? Ooh. I had a play where the player got hit, fumbled, was down when he got hit, and ended up with an injury. Wow. Oh, yeah, that was a question I had. We're much better against the running game here when it's Singletary and not McCaffrey.
Here we go. Here we go.
Well, we're aggressive on this play. Oh, is that enough? Is that good? Oh, he got him. Wait a minute, it's first down.
Ready.
I'd say so, Rams house. Oh, Pete Alonso walk-off? The Mets are good. Now the Braves are, are in hot pursuit of first place. I really like the Braves, man. They're such a, I think, such a likable team. Just all these young, homegrown players they've given big deals to. They're just a well-rounded, good team. I'm pretty jelly of the Atlanta Braves. Can we get near Ritter, please? All right, this is a little ridiculous here. That was an ugly play, but those will happen. I'm not worried about that, Jay Mills. I think that, occasionally you'll see a player that you're like, why is that player not hitting free agency? I don't see it being like a major problem. I might talk to Matt a little bit about the CPU pass blocking because they are protecting for a long time in a lot of cases. That's a little ugly. You want to force faster decisions. And they're not running the football. I just don't think you can really do a whole lot about that right now. They're just going to be pass heavy out of the gate right now. I'm hoping that by the time I get into my series, we're at least having fun games. And by the time we get to year 2, things are tightened up. But from a slider standpoint, from a pass run split standpoint, maybe a couple updates have come out. That's the goal. Like, to me, year 2 is when a series really begins. Year 1 is just laying the foundation. It's like a prologue. And that was not the last interception he threw on that night. Appreciate the votes, everybody. 87% or 87 votes, 72 yes, 27% no. But yeah, am I going to play through preseason? It'll be the newest rosters that are out at the time that I start. Down goes Ritter. I feel like I might play through preseason just for my own sake, my own practice. I feel like that just might be a good idea in general. I'm trying to jump up on a lot of these crossing patterns when I think like he wants to throw. I'm trying to get like a user knockdown. Pull for abilities. Okay. Yeah, running backs have odd running tendencies when the CPU's in control. That is true. And unfortunately, there are very few ways we can combat that. You think the Vikings could keep 4 running backs plus Ham? I think Madison could be traded if Kane and Chandler impress tomorrow. Neither makes it past waivers. Oh, yeah, you wouldn't be waiving Kane. Chandler would be iffy if he has a good day. I think the initial 53 will be 4 running backs plus Ham. But I also think that they might be willing to potentially trade Madison if the right offer came along. But I don't know if they would really do it right away. But I do think that initial 53, I haven't done like a mock, like building my own to see, okay, can you fit 4 running backs? What do you have to sacrifice to do it? Just thinking about the players themselves, I don't think they're going to let any of them go. Dude. 5 picks in this game. I think I need the preseason practice. I haven't played well in this one. Yeah, the jersey stretching is awkward, especially on like single-digit numbers. I've noticed the uniforms just kind of look off. No abilities means no X factor, right? That is correct. So far, majority are saying no. We have 65 votes, 57% no, 43% yes. All right. We need to play better. Rip Titans franchise. Oh, boy. We'll be running the ball 45 times by week 4. The entire series is just going to be one of those, like, challenge videos. How many carries can Derrick Henry have in a full season? What's the max amount of carries before he literally can't play anymore? Yeah, glad he could make it, Patrick. Yeah, user running game has felt pretty good. I know I'm getting destroyed in this one. I've been pretty risky with the throws. Could there be some of that with Malik Willis in my Titans franchise?
Here we go. Ready.
I couldn't throw that at first because the defender was there.
Let's go now.
This is a fantasy draft franchise game where I'm testing out sliders. Yeah, I think I'll play those preseason games probably just to get a feel for things. Unless I can get a feel for it in practicing. Just normal slider games. Ooh, give me that. Like, what do you think? I can put a poll there. I haven't been scrambling at all with Jalen Hurts. It's only been options. Slot fade, Drake London. What do we think on this? Safety just going to body him. No XP sliders from Matt 10, no. Another set on there, I think Flasco's has XP sliders, but I haven't used them yet or tested them out. Thank you. Reese Hall. You can always change the abilities so OP ones won't be difficult to remove. That's a good call. I can take a look and see, like, all right, of the abilities, which ones do I not want to see? I'm not a huge fan of the abilities in general. I like the way All-Pro Football 2K8 handled them. Madden's a little more video gamey. It's not that I prefer the classic passing, Chris. It's that I want it to be ratings-based in franchise, so I'm not going to use the skill-based mechanic like that. Dude, you got to be ready for that ball. This is Madden 23. The ball is coming out. Just like I drew it up. Trying to throw a fade to Devontae Adams. Madden. What's this? Justin Tucker's gonna throw it. Nope. Can't do it. Oops. Let's see how onside kicks are. Let me guess. The same? They all ran back. We had a chance. I do think that's true, Cad. Some of the abilities won't be a huge issue, but I have to take a look. I think there are some that I would just say absolutely no. Oh, wow. Trevor Lawrence on 50 injury. Ankle injury. You don't often see QB injuries here in Madden these days. I didn't see, like, any last year. They just made it so your quarterbacks would never get hurt.
On the double.
We don't talk about that Saints game too soon. On fades or deep balls, one-on-one. Yeah, I can see that. Like, if you know, hey, I want the ball in this spot. Let's see if he can go get it. I do agree with that. Not getting the rush. Ritter started out looking a little more uncomfortable, but we just haven't gotten any pressure on him.
Ready. Check right.
I think those videos are cool, Torque. I mean, I think there's plenty of room for more stuff like that. Like, I think those videos are fun. And I think there are a lot of people who want to do franchise, but I think a lot of people are put off when the game is, you know, not in as good a shape as others are for playing against the CPU and in franchise. And if franchise were more solid and the gameplay were more solid, I think you'd see more content like that. I just think it's a direct reflection of the game. 12-minute quarters, probably. Whatever I did in the Broncos is most likely what I'll end up with. Oh, no. We don't want to see that, snowman. That's rough. I know, a real training camp. Like, Madden doesn't have any kind of training camp. No practices, nothing like that. Just preseason games. There's so much more that could be done. Favorite moment in any sport of all time? I mean, that I've experienced for my favorite teams, it would be the Minneapolis Miracle, of course, as a Vikings fan. Unfortunately, that's the best it's really gotten. If not a team like that, if not one of my favorite teams, yeah, I mean that not Steelers, the Seahawks Patriots Super Bowl is certainly up there. I don't know. That's a difficult question. So yeah, I didn't play well in those games, but you know, I really liked a lot of what these sliders brought to the game. I thought that it was certainly challenging. I had fun. I like to see in those two games, how many punts did I force? Two punts in that second game even. And let's see. In the first game, I forced 2 punts there as well. Got a raise recently. Thanks for all the content. Congratulations, and thank you for the 269, Samuel. Good for you. That is something to take a look at with 50 injury. Have you noticed the impact simulating at all? One of the things that's important is that you see, you know, your games and the simulation match as close as you can. Player aggression is still absent. Yeah, that screen, man. I missed that screen. When you're going through these simulations here, you see a lot more dynamic injuries. Some more mid-tier, some long-term. Some teams have nothing going on. The variety of injuries in games I have played hasn't really been there. I am uploading sliders from the main menu. I don't know if it matters, but I just always do that. I do remember that, Cad. I absolutely remember that. Where's Ryan Grant now? Like every year, there's a guy who gets offered a massive contract and then he fails his physical. Wow. Wow. Ryan Grant hasn't played in the NFL since 2019. He was last with the Calgary Stampeders. Vikings Mount Rushmore. It's honestly tough because there are a lot of great players. If you just look at overall Vikings history, I think that the Mount Rushmore would be like Fran Tarkington, Alan Page, Randy Moss, and then like Steve Hutchinson. If you're going like all history, if you're doing like my time as a fan, then it would be, you know, Moss, Adrian, Jared Allen, probably, Steve Hutchinson again. when you do it historically, like the players you have to exclude in some cases, there are some really good players. Yeah, like John Randall, Jim Marshall, like you said, Chris Carter, Chuck Foreman, Carl Eller, Paul Krause, #1 interception leader NFL history, Antoine Winfield, Kevin Williams, Jared Allen. Favre only played 2 years and one sucked, so not long enough to be on a Mount Rushmore. Unless he won a ring, then he would be eligible. Like, you'd have to put Tom Brady on the Buccaneers Mount Rushmore because of a championship. It would be like Tom Brady and Brad Johnson and John Lynch. Brad Johnson was on the Super Bowl team, right? Rondé Barber. Mike Allstott. Bud Grant, yeah. I mean, you got to consider the coach as well there. That was a good time. Again, the sliders are linked down below in the description if you want to check those out. And make sure you include penalties. Like, Madden's a goofy game. Penalties do impact gameplay. Trust me. Been playing this game for a long time. I know Matt's goal was to not impact the runner pass blocking because it just screws with the AI and makes them do a lot of weird things or not play very intelligently. And they already aren't that great to begin with, so you don't want to make them worse. So I know his goal was to do everything with these penalty sliders. With false start and holding. Usually offsides is something he's playing with. I'll have to ask him about that. One thing you'll notice on here, he does turn intentional grounding off because of some AI things with the CPU. So that is kind of wonky, but I mean, I played my Broncos franchise with no IG on. There is a Raiders safety wearing 89. It is disgusting. Oh, that is not okay. Oh, that's bad. Raiders safety wearing 89. No, 66 for a punter is fine. Nobody cares about numbers in the 60s or the 40s. Those ones are fair game. Eagles receiver Devin Allen wears 39. That's an ugly number for a receiver. And I know he's also like an Olympic sprinter. Like a really fast guy wearing 39 is even worse. If you're a receiver wearing 39, you have to be at least 235 pounds. That's kind of the rule. Sky Moore wearing 24 for the Chiefs. I think we let players go out of control here with the numbers. The whole thing should have been single digits for skill players and secondary players. And then that's it. That would have been fine. Let running backs wear number 5. Let receivers wear number 1. The second I see a receiver wearing 39, I'm going to have a hard time taking him seriously. You ever seen the clip of John Madden talking about guys that were in the right numbers? It's a hilarious clip. You gotta check that out. Like, even John Madden knew, like, the numbers mattered and had to fit. In that clip, he talks about, 88? He's a tall guy? tall number. You had to watch that clip. It's awesome. Kyle Pitts at 8. Yeah, it's fine. Because he's Kyle Pitts. But hey, that's going to do it for me tonight, everybody. Late night. Hope you had fun. We'll see if I get to any more of these, but I feel like the sliders are in a pretty good spot. I'll give Matt my feedback and see where things are. But yeah, I'm feeling pretty good about getting this Titans franchise up and running soon. So take care, everybody. Have a good night. I will have off season for the UTSA. I still almost say Kalispell every time because I did so many seasons. But UTSA off season tomorrow. And I think Sydney. Have a good night, everybody. I'll see you in the next one.